Oh, it's excellent to zero.
A real boxer, a real world champion boxer. That the only other time he was in for the fans to get mad with that was against Fury's Tommy Fury, but it wasn't that level, obviously, and all the size things you just rightfully pointed out. But he would have been in there with, I mean, it seemed crazy.
Gervonta Tank Davis has shocked fans with his new look ahead of his rumored fight with Jake Paul. Known for his power and compact build, Davis has clearly bulked up, gaining noticeable muscle that has everyone talking. Recent training clips show a thicker, stronger version of Tank, sparking speculation that he's preparing to match Jake Paul's size and strength.
We were yelling so much about him fighting someone, fight somebody your size. His next opponent is, by far, the most credentialed guy ever fought actively in his prime. There's one problem. He fights at 135 pounds. He fights at 135 pounds.
In preparation, Davis has reportedly turned his training into an all-out transformation. His workouts now include intense strength training, heavy sparring, and non-stop conditioning to handle the extra weight. Reports say he's been lifting heavier than ever, especially with compound exercises, to build upper body power while keeping his trademark speed. Davis has even been sparring with bigger fighters, some close to heavyweight size, to get used to facing larger opponents.
Yeah. This Santa Cruz I hit the deck.
On my own.
Big down, let it burn, baby, let it burn. Oh. Mind over matter, son. Mind over matter.
This is the blues I'm
Ain't nobody doing no shit like this. Come in the desert. Nigga trying to stay away from the desert. He come in the desert.
when the night
Camera.
is cold.
Oh, see.
Light, camera, action.
And fighting for the
Light, action. Cap.
Come on, Sam. Come on, Sam. Come out. Come out here. Come on, let me kiss you. You said, dig down in there. Get down. 10 seconds. 10 seconds. 10 seconds.
I'm playing.
Don't think about it. Don't think about it.
This is the final game.
Remember that gun on it? They got that gun on that tank. They go, time.
When the night is cold and lonely.
They ain't gonna keep you here late tonight. Good job.
It's been hard being away from my daughter. You know, she actually here. She sleep. Just being away from her, it was a little touchy. But I know when I'm up, up against. I know that I got pay-per-view. I know I'm fighting a tough opponent. So really, I know how to lock in. I know how to shy away from everything. I know how to, I know how to fool around.
Nigga got a ringworm.
I said, team.
Yeah, you can just say, you don't worry about the ball.
No, don't get like it.
Nah,
Man, we can't go on TV looking like that.
nah.
Even with all that, the challenge is huge. Jake Paul naturally fights much heavier, and the bout is set for a 195-pound limit with 12-ounce gloves. Davis usually fights around 135 pounds, meaning he'll have to gain about 60 pounds to compete. Many experts worry that this added mass could slow him down and weaken the explosiveness that defines his fighting style.
Jake Paul, Tank Davis fight got moved to Miami.
I think Jake wins.
Jake's just so big, dude.
I think Jake wins.
This is different because it's similar. It's similar to Logan versus Mayweather, but
Jake has
Jake
better
Paul
boxing.
now obviously is way more advanced than where Logan was at that moment in time.
I mean,
Gervonta
it's
is
just.
fucking sick.
I mean, yeah, no, but dude,
Did you
Jake.
ever watch his highlights?
Jake can
He's
crack,
nasty,
man.
bro.
He's so sick.
He's
I love
nasty.
that guy, bro.
Tank is not the guy that knows how to sell a fight. Tank cannot sell a fight in his own division. You have the Paul brothers and they come over to boxing. Their idea from day one is we don't have the skills or the experience. What we're going to do is we'll take on the absolute best guys, but they're going to spot us some pounds. Hank has one job to do, that it doesn't make any difference, that boxing is a real sport. My skills versus your skill, of which I am an abundance of and of which you have none of. Hank is telling anybody that will listen that there's a size problem. My skills and my experience in boxing, I do not have to wonder who's in the bar tonight. Any bar I go to, I rule the bar. No, it turns out that you don't. Just need some big guy to corner you, apparently. Boxing has never stood its ground. Boxing has never been able to explain why Floyd needed a half hour to get rid of a guy who's never boxed before. Hank Davis has already began this. When you choose a dum-dum, don't be surprised when he goes out and acts like a dum-dum.
UFC President Dana White has been blunt about the potential fight. He said not many fans are truly excited about it, but admitted it could help Davis at a time when his career momentum has slowed. White believes Jake Paul's size, reach, and physical strength could be too much for Tank, allowing Paul to lean on him, clinch, and sap his energy. While he respects Davis's boxing skills, White doubts they'll hold up against such a big size difference. He sees the fight more as a test of Davis's toughness than a real boxing contest.
Is picking Jake Paul to beat Gervonta Davis. This is not a fight that I'm excited for at all. I would rather have Gervonta Davis fighting in a real boxing match against the likes of Lamont Roach, Shakur Stevenson, Keyshawn Davis, Emmanuel Navarrete, anybody that is in the 135-pound division and around. That's who I want to see Gervonta Davis fight. However, we live in a world where everybody is trying to do things as big as possible. And the biggest fights possible right now, unfortunately for the sport of boxing, is an exhibition fight between Jake Paul and Gervonta Davis. So I do like it for this reason, though. I like it because it is allowing Gervonta Davis to have a fight that is going to be big and that the mainstream media is going to have to cover, the mainstream media outside the world of boxing. Gervonta Davis has been, without a doubt, blocked, having venues blocked, having fighters, having other promoters paying fighters away to go different directions from Gervonta Davis. So Gervonta Davis was in a bit of a hole. And he gets an opportunity to fight Jake Paul for $200 million or whatever. I don't mind it at all. As long as Gervonta Davis comes back to the world of boxing after he gets done with this, hey man, you got your money, no worries. But you gotta love Dana White having the audacity to pick Jake Paul in this fight and says something to the effect that, hey, he was talking to Logan Paul and said, hey, when you were fighting Floyd, you know, there was this, you're a gigantic guy, big size difference. There was a time when Floyd Mayweather Jr. had an overhand right that landed flush on Logan Paul.
Bare-knuckle fighter and former UFC star Mike Perry also slammed the matchup. He accused Davis of chasing easy money instead of real boxing challenges, questioning whether Tank still has the same hunger that made him a champion. Perry even suggested that Jake Paul might be training harder than Davis right now. His comments stirred up fans, reigniting debate over whether Davis is fighting for legacy or just for a payday.
Jake is big. Tank has a lot of skill, but I don't think he's the same Tank that we saw the most incredible knockouts. We saw him, Lamont Roach performed great. They went to draw, and, I just don't know. And Tank walked away. I don't know if he loves it enough to beat a guy who outweighs him by 80 to 100 pounds.
During their face-off, Davis appeared tense and uncomfortable, surprising fans who are used to seeing his trademark confidence. Observers noticed his stiff posture, lack of eye contact, and forced composure. Standing in front of the much larger Jake Paul, it looked like Tank was realizing just how big the challenge really is. Some fans think he was simply staying focused, but others saw real doubt in his body language.
Tank looked very uncomfortable facing off. He just did. I've seen other face-offs this Tank done. He gets their face and they're intense and he looks good. He looked very meager up there. You've had 8 fights and you're gonna go tangle with Tank Davis. And the story instantly comes out. Jake is so much bigger. There is such a compliment to Jake within that insult. It is meant to be an insult. It is meant to take away from a potentially glorious moment for Jake. But where the compliment comes is it means the public believes he's gonna win. That's what it means.
Boxing analyst Teddy Atlas didn't hold back either. He joked that Davis was so small next to Jake Paul that he'd need a ladder to reach his chin. Atlas said size mismatches happen in boxing, but this one is extreme. Comparing it to a hypothetical Canelo versus Crawford matchup, Atlas argued that Crawford was never as undersized as Davis is here. To him, this fight looks more like a spectacle than a serious competition.
Things, right? They should also have like the size of the ring, the size of the glove, all that stuff. Particulars should be in the contract. But I would probably look for one thing that is not the common thing to have in a contract if I'm Tank. A ladder. A ladder. Can I get a ladder? Somebody? You know what I mean? Hey, look, if he hits him on the chin the way he can punch, Jake might be doing a dance. You know what I mean? Not voluntarily either. But we'll get into that more later. The thing that I'm talking about right here is what you said. It was stark. The size difference was really, you couldn't ignore it. We understand the talent difference, the experience difference. We understand all of that. But the size, the pure, and we understand small guys can beat big guys. We just saw Crawford do it to Canelo, but a little different. The size difference was, I mean, it was eye-catching, jaw-dropping. And it made me think, and I'm going to ask Richie, our man here who's doing all the taping, who does such a marvelous job. I'm going to ask him, because I know he's an expert in this area, but it reminded me of one of the Rocky movies where they had the face, where they did the wrestling thing with Rocky and Hulk Hogan, a.k.a. Thunderlips. He was Thunderlips back there. And I thought I had it right, and it was confirmed to me. It's Rocky 3.
Undefeated champion Shakur Stevenson echoed those thoughts, calling the fight bad for boxing. He said it makes no competitive sense and exists only to make money. Stevenson added that the massive size difference between the two fighters turns the event into a show rather than a real sporting contest.
Maybe he'll fight Jake Paul instead. What do you think of that?
I think that's terrible.
Why?
I mean, I get it, because at the end of the day, it's the money business, and you want to make the most money. But from what I'm hearing, he can make more money in a fight with me. And if that's the case, why not fight me?
Sure. Do you think he beats Jake Paul?
Do I think he beats Jake? Yeah. I mean,
there's a huge size advantage, though.
It is, but I think Tank got the skills to make sure he come out on top.
Do you think that Jake has gone better?
Yeah, I think actually Jake got tremendously better from the time frame that he started till now. And in the right situation, I also could see him become a world champion.
Really?
Yeah.